infrastructure for delivering weather and climate services across all time zones, fragmented and uncoordinated databases, outdated legislation and policies that do not keep pace with a rapidly evolving sector, a lack of adequate technology to effectively respond to cybersecurity threats, and a daunting debt burden of almost 2 billion cedis. To revitalize this sector, government is committed to reviewing existing laws and policies to better align them with emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, big data, Internet of Things, and machine learning. Additionally, we'll develop and expedite the enactment of the Kofi Annan Center of Excellence Bill. This legislation will establish the necessary framework for the center to concentrate on research and development, consultants in reliable water and affordable housing, significantly enhances the well-being and quality of life of our people. These elements are integral to our research agenda and fundamental to our vision to build the Ghana that we all want. However, the water sector in Ghana faces considerable challenges. Drinking water. This commitment, Agua, Sehiyuoso, Dodoaso, Kweman, Damfa, Goso, Dwabeng, Aveime, and Edubamso. We'll also tackle critical water projects in Damango, Tamale, Yendi, Sunyani, Techiman, and Takwa to ensure broader access to potable water nationwide. Mr. Speaker, Ghana has a coastline that stretches approximately 550 kilometers. It's become an all too frequent occurrence in many urban centers across the county, resulting in tragic loss of life, livelihood, and property. This scenario underscores the urgent need for sustainable solutions to address these pressing challenges. Many of our drainage systems are inadequate. They are worsened by careless waterway construction and obstruction, and the relentless encroachment on wetlands and floodplains. To tackle these issues, we have to explore alternative sources of funding to support essential drainage works. Our housing deficit is estimated at over 1.2 million units. And this has been the situation for many decades. High costs associated with land acquisition, construction material, and access to financing have made home ownership unattainable for many, primarily affecting vulnerable populations and contributing to the rise of slums. This government is steadfast in its commitment to complete all ongoing housing initiatives, beginning with the Saglemi Affordable Housing Project. We'll also implement a low-cost social that is alarmingly equivalent to approximately 8,000 football fields has been completely destroyed. Mr. Speaker, the pollution levels in major rivers within the southwestern basin are critically high, with turbidity levels far exceeding possible units. To combat this urgent crisis, we're implementing a proactive approach that includes robust and impartial law enforcement, meaningful stakeholder engagement, and the creation of alternative livelihoods for our citizens involved in Galamsey. We're expanding the Minerals Commission regional offices to strengthen their regulatory oversight. We will establish a framework that categorizes mining activities into small, medium, and large scale, each with its tailored regulations. Mr. Speaker, we will establish a to craft policies related to critical minerals such as lithium. The anticipated development of the integrated aluminium and iron industry will significantly increase the value of Ghana's natural resources. In our commitment to restoring degraded forests, we will launch the Tree for Life restoration policy and the Blue Water Initiative, which will transform mined-out areas into ecological recovery zones. This ambitious afforestation program aims to establish more than 50,000 hectares of new plantations and undertake 5,000 hectares of enrichment planting annually. We'll also implement public sensitization campaigns to foster sustainable forest management practices and uphold the Wildlife Resource Management Act. We're going to involve school children and the general public in tree planting and tree growing. Mr. Speaker, comprehensive reforms will be introduced to enhance transparency and efficiency while ensuring tenure of security in land administration. Climate change remains a pressing concern for Ghana and the global community. To meet our climate mitigation targets, Ghana has allocated 24 million metric tons of its carbon budget, totaling 6 million metric tons of carbon for authorization under Article 6 of the Paris Agreement. We've successfully authorized 3 projects which are poised to reduce 5.2 million tons of our carbon emissions. In line with our manifesto, we are committed to strengthening institutional and human capacity through necessary adaptation and mitigation measures to bolster. We also pledge to align our national policies with international efforts to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees centigrade by 2050 and promote a fair and just transition to renewable energy sources. Mr. Speaker, we stand on the cusp of making history. The history of a country that prioritizes transparency and accountability as key elements of governance. During my campaign for president, I pledged, as captured by the NDC's 2024 manifesto, to take a strong stance against corruption. Mr. Speaker, we must end state capture. Mr. Speaker, we must end the purchase of state and public assets, such as land and other immovable assets, by members of the political class. Mr. Speaker, I pledge to fight corruption head-on by implementing Operation Recover All the Loot, ORAL. In that regard, Mr. Speaker, one of the first committees I established, even before my investiture as president, was to establish the ORAL Committee on the sidelines of our transition. 1,000 complaints from the public, and has since handed over a comprehensive report. This report has been given to the Attorney General for further review, thorough investigation, and eventual prosecutions. Mr. Speaker, the recent arrest related to the unwarranted payment of $2 million of Ghanaian taxpayers' money in the Sky train saga, and then also the National Service Ghost Name scandal, mark only the beginning of a comprehensive response based on the Oral Committee's findings. Mr. Speaker, let me state that my commitment to fighting corruption will continue with the establishment of a unit at the Presidency and the maintenance of the hotline to the Office of the Attorney General. Mr. Speaker, sale of disposal of public lands and state assets. Mr. Speaker, as soon as the 2025 budget is approved, government will immediately take steps to reform the existing anti-corruption agencies by increasing funding and improving transparency and accountability. Mr. Speaker, Ghanaians have a strong commitment and abhorrence for corruption. We pledge to fight corruption and implement far-reaching reforms that will eventually achieve a sustainable zero-tolerance policy against corruption. Mr. Speaker, The justice and legal sectors play pivotal roles in ensuring accountability and fostering the fair, equitable treatment of all our citizens by the state and its agencies. Delays and uncertainties have plagued justice delivery in Ghana, leading many Ghanaians to perceive a politicization of the judicial process. The public trust in the judiciary's independence is alarmingly low. We must work together to restore confidence in the judiciary, work with the Judicial Council and services to depoliticize justice delivery, and collaborate closely with the Chief Justice to combat corruption effectively. Mr. Speaker, in line with our manifesto promise to reform and expand legal education, we have developed a legal education reform bill ready to be presented to Cabinet for approval and laying before this August House Parliament. Mr. Speaker, on January 30th, 2025, I inaugurated the Constitution Review Committee to undertake a comprehensive review of our fundamental law and ensure that it reflects the hopes and aspirations of our citizens. The committee is composed of distinct recruitment policy so that all our young people who wish to serve in these services have an opportunity to do so. We are dedicated to enhancing the capabilities of the Ghana Police Service, the Prison Service, the Ghana National Fire Service, the Immigration Service, and the Narcotics Control Commission, the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, and all investigative bodies operating under the Ministry of Interior. By motivating and re-equipping these agencies, we aim to effectively maintain internal peace and security. Mr. Speaker, I want to reaffirm this government's unwavering commitment to prioritizing the welfare and well-being of our brave men and women in uniform who sacrifice daily to uphold law and order and secure our nation's peace. We will invest in adequate equipment and suitable accommodation and the acquisition of appropriate technology. Achieving a stable and secure nation necessitates the motivation of our uniformed personnel. Currently, the Ghana Armed Forces faces a housing shortfall of over 17,000 units, and we recognize that the inadequate state of barrack accommodation needs to be addressed promptly. In addition to housing, we'll prioritize improvements to rations and fuel supplies for our security forces. Quality healthcare is another critical aspect of motivating our armed forces. As we work to expand and improve facilities at the 3rd Civil Military Hospital, in this regard, DHOC, which was begun under the late President John Evans Atta Mills of blessed memory during my tenure as chair of the Armed Forces Council, is essential for the economy initiative. Although DHOC has expanded, it's yet to be fully optimized to deliver the returns needed for the Ghana Armed Forces and our nation. I've tasked the Minister for Defense with incorporating innovative and significant private sector participation into DHOC. Mr. Speaker, Ghana's strong it reflects the confidence our country's stability and democratic progress has engendered in the international community. Ghana remains committed to its Pan-Africanist ideals, non-alignment, democracy, and global cooperation, and the rule of multilateralism, embracing a policy of friends to all and enemies to none. We'll continue to cultivate diplomatic ties based on mutual respect and shared values. Mr. Speaker, Ghana is open for business. Our policy on economic diplomacy focuses on export diversification, foreign investment, and job creation. A new blueprint and delivery unit at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs with clear performance indicators will be launched soon to ensure foreign engagements yield tangible benefits for our people. Because of our vision of a 24-hour economy, the Passport Office is going to work 24 hours to process passports that have been applied for. Mr. Speaker, as we reset Ghana to serve Ghanaians better, we'll promote social dialogue and foster harmonious industrial national labor conference to discuss pertinent issues affecting labor and employers. The recommendations are expected to influence and shape government's policies and programs in this sector. Mr. Speaker, we will launch the Ghana Labor Export Program, which would allow Ghanaians to go abroad and work with countries that we have signed agreements in specialized areas like engineering, technology, welding, carpentry, masonry, and nursing, teaching, and so many and so forth. The government will maintain strict fiduciary responsibility for the operation of the National Pensions Regulatory Authority and the Social Security and National Insurance Trust. This year, the NPRA will fully automate its internal operations and the pension industry will be regulated. This is critical to safeguarding the growth. Express your displeasure with the poor governance and corruption that has existed in the past. Mr. Speaker, some of our compatriots did so even at the peril of their lives, just as our 28th February crossroads shooting national heroes did in the Gold Coast. May all such martyrs of democracy, those who have died in the process of elections and in the process of just exercising their civil rights, may they rest peacefully in the bosom of the Lord. Mr. Speaker, we will, as I promised, investigate these deaths and we will provide appropriate compensation to the families of those who have died during the elections. My brothers and sisters, you gave me a compelling mandate that leaves no one in doubt about your expectations of me and my government. As I recall mentioning a few intensive care units, as I recall mentioning a few years ago when we were still in opposition, the economy is even worse than we had envisaged. But this gives us ample opportunity to be innovative in our efforts to resuscitate it. And so what are the key takeaways from me for the people of Ghana? 1, that we shall fight corruption effectively. 2, that we shall run a lean government of no more than 60 ministers. 3, that we shall realign the ministries, agencies, and departments to eliminate duplication. 4, that will introduce austerity, reduce wasteful expenditure and spending, and improving tax collection. 5, that we shall widen Ghana's tax nets, reform tax waivers, especially on investments, and return to our homegrown solutions. 6, that we will grow what we eat and reduce imports of food and goods that can easily be produced here in Ghana. Your voice and contributions will prove invaluable on this journey of national reset, and I encourage you to make your voices heard. I commit to the judicious use of your resources, eschewing waste and ostentation. We will always endeavor to make the most of the little we have, so that together we can guarantee a brighter future for our children and our children's children. Though the state of our nation now else the opportunity to innovate, to reflect, review, and reset, which is the theme for the commemoration of our scaled-down 68th independence anniversary. Mr. Speaker, it is said that there is strength in unity. Ghana's greatest strength lies in its people, its young and energetic youth. If we stand united, we can be more resilient and build together the power of collective action to overcome economic and social challenges. Every Ghanaian, regardless of political affiliation, background, or status, has a responsibility to play a key role in nation building and work towards a complete reset of our country. Mr. Speaker, let me assure you that we are leaving no one behind as we reset to rebuild the Ghana we want. We will rebuild a Ghana that works time. And so, my countrymen and women, where despair once existed, let hope radiate. And where the sun appeared to set on our bright prospects as a nation, let a new dawn of enthusiasm and renewal supplant it. So that when I come and stand here next year to present a message of the state of our nation, it will be one brimming with excitement and happiness. Mr. Speaker, I thank you very much for this opportunity. I thank honorable members for your kind attention. May God bless our homeland, Ghana. Thank you.
Members, honorable members, please resume your seat. Honorable members, honorable members, order, 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 order. Order, order, order. Honorable members, please, honorable members. Regarding adjournment of the House.
Speaker, Right Honorable Speaker, we wish to thank His Excellency the President for fulfilling his constitutional obligations under Article 67 and duly presenting to us a message on the state of the nation. These are clearly bleak. So, Speaker, I see on this side of the House my colleagues in black Mr. Speaker, it is obvious that they left this economy in a miserable state. And the attire that they adorn today says it all. But this side is in white because His Excellency the President, we knew very well, was bringing to us a message of hope. Mr. Speaker, our elders have cautioned that you don't leave who did everything to bring him to office. We have no doubt that everything outlined here gives hope. And this House will support His Excellency on his commitment. But more importantly, this House will support His Excellency. Those who so damage our economy must be held accountable. And we will support him to deliver on the commitment to accountability.
Management. Yet when you came to this House, on the same state of the economy that you had presided and re-echoed the point that we are left with just the bones. Mr. Speaker, the President again says that, but it is clear that his strategy is, if less, more divide. You have appointed few ministers, but more and more and more presidential staffers and more committees. Mr. Speaker, the President again.
Honorable members, please.
The President again came to this House with a familiar story, the usual lamentations. He packaged it in a language as though we have a new beginning. Mr. Speaker, if the President has any concerns, his duty is to fix it. Mr. Speaker, His Excellency, the President, has announced to us a cabinet of 19 with only 2 women. The daughter of the founder of this NDC, Zaneto Rollins, is missing. Hajia Ladi is missing. Helen Tosu is missing. Where are the women in this government? The Vice President.
Honorable members, please, order, order, order.
in cabinet and the vice president is sitting there. In percentage terms, we have only 10% of women in cabinet. Mr. Speaker, the president again, as part of his lamentations, is telling the nation that through some arrangements, they have been able to do two things: pay domestic bonds that matured, and then also they have successfully done some financial engineering to pay some energy sector debts to keep our lights on. My question is, Mr. Speaker, has the president any
Baby by Fagan free is a Sam say university so Chima de Biawi as another dana. About the no Munyan Sam, yeah. I feel my Unina, Equa, Edapua. Okay. Na you are receiving. And then I want to was in 2028 anyway. Yabasiamba, and we are coming back stronger. Sure. Na ye bane baba fire him some of my one day. Na yam fanko. The minimum say 2028, a young coupon panic or abilities at the sepa. Yabako, na yam baba soon ye manful. Yadase, Ochidampon. Adaroma nanom etawachi wakoma pa wahobrase no adwen pantiri se na so bebo chidom edo kodu san pempenso na yenyina yehwe se obetu akọ na okodi dwumaso adama Kwabri East ama Kwabri East to afa na tuma pefe yeda se na ene se nim no Ghana mampen atwa ma no just last year December 7th ya January 7th ya oso afọ na musa se Ghana mampanyin ene edo the first state of the nation address after set to Obama no 2024 no odabe tudwa na okanse bebrebe mi ni so monitor na ensem no baby me de and I said baby me fire me fa nema be se ensia bi a obo so a in fact ehunya bebrebe o se the takeaways if upon this Kenya no I think Ghanaians are expecting say better na yam free first one was we shall fight corruption effectively. Yen nim say abandana no twa mu no ade ba ko Ghana for the ball na chipa ba ko eye corruption. Yen nim say we record so as far as corruption is concerned. Papa say they will fight him he and his government of now. The obey ko ye any de nhihia wo say no ohunu say our the muzzle or the oh okay because you're a man paying bond to ano Omayete says Oba Catasana prayer, dear Bakubitu Sanwa Tosore. And correct. Na Oba is I can say Ura. Yes. But Hene Ajumasuma Ura Abono. To be very honest with you, of course, so about a Diana pension. But Hene Omani, yes, say, or Mania Yania, yes, I'm a market of Kitin near my Ossie, yeah, Abbey. Ghost names on national service and quantum over 80,000. 80,000 ghost names in national service. Ghost names on national service. Oh, yes, sir. Well, he named a car or mine or apple. But he named a dear Balquay, yeah, 10 years. Papa car said all the corporate and the suspect must be brought to book. Was say they would declare everyone wanted. So when you are you are going to be declared wanted. Sure. Must be held to be every single person involved in such acts. Yes. Must be brought to the law. No one is above accountability. Sure. And then I say, that I would try Munrechi. Or say, I didn't know I saw for you guys will be a paper be hiding. Dam, of which the dam is nowhere to be found. People must be accountable. Sure. I was say, Omufisi in Marano. Media Mr. Mura John Germany Mahama say, O Piara no Wobo Assembly Piano Nada Roma, Omagana Mrano,
Any. Okay.
Son said, O Mayana ye, Nasabi, wow, feel cry, Guana, what here. Want to